Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. You're doing a great thing by being here. How are you feeling? Okay, all right. It's complicated, I know.
Strong for Palestine.
Yeah. It makes me proud to be a resident of Normal to see you here today, supporting Palestinian rights. My name is Bob Broad. I'm a retired teacher. My family has lived in Normal for 29 years. I was raised as a Catholic, but now I'm a Quaker, a member of the Bloomington Normal Friends meeting, and I'd like to emphasize that my comments do not necessarily represent the views of the local Quaker meeting. As a lifelong admirer and follower of the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth, I naturally have also been an admirer of Judaism and the Jewish people, whom I count among my friends and my extended family. Jesus was a Jewish person who was also a spiritual, ethical, and political revolutionary. He never accepted people's excuses for their acts of cruelty or injustice. Never. It's also helpful in this context to remember that Jesus was born in the area known to us as Palestine, and he lived his life in Palestine. Jesus of Nazareth was a Palestinian. My son Dylan and I traveled to Palestine and Israel in 2011, drawn mainly by Dylan's passionate concern for the human rights of Palestinians. And by the way, Dylan is here today. The human rights of Palestinians, which are crushed on a daily basis in the occupied territories by both the Israeli military and by Israeli settlers. One of the most memorable images in my mind from our trip is a message painted on a stone at the entrance to the home of one of the Palestinian families we visited, who were threatened daily by nearby Israeli settlers. The message was, "We refuse to be enemies. We refuse to be enemies." The more you learn about the plight of the Palestinians over the last 75 years, the more remarkable and powerful this message seems. When we oppose atrocities carried out by the Israeli Defense Forces, let us not be falsely called anti-Semitic. We take this stand not out of any antagonism toward Jewish people, but rather out of our firm commitment to basic human rights for everyone, regardless of their ethnicity or religion. My current heroes are the thousands of Jewish people in Israel and the US who are speaking out against Israel's actions in Gaza and even being arrested for peacefully protesting against US support for these assaults. Most of us here today pay taxes to the United States government. Billions of dollars of our tax money every year are donated to Israel and used to buy weapons that are currently, at this exact moment, as we stand here together on Uptown Circle, being used to carry out mass murder of innocent civilians in Gaza.
Shame!
Your tax dollars at work. Yes, we have all heard many excuses about how these killings are justified or necessary. However, rationalizations don't make the killings less criminal. If you read the United Nations definition of genocide, you will discover that Craig Mokhiber, former director of the New York office of the UN's High Commissioner for Human Rights, and US Representative Rashida Tlaib were correct in recently using the term genocide to describe the ongoing killings of, so far, 10,022 Gazans, as reported today. Some people want to justify Israel's weeks-long assault on Gazan civilians by pointing to the October 7th Hamas attacks. Yet these very same people become outraged if anyone mentions the 75 years of brutal military occupation and illegal imprisonment that were the background for the Hamas attack. For my part, I hope you will join me in condemning both Hamas's attack on Israeli civilians and Israel's attack on Gazan civilians as war crimes. Under no circumstances may civilians be targets of war. No excuses. I'm going to wrap up by saying we all need to educate ourselves better about the history of Palestine and Israel so we understand what's actually going on there. My journey began by reading Sandy Tolan's book, The Lemon Tree, and I still recommend it. We need to get on the phone to our political representatives, President Biden, Senator Durbin, Senator Duckworth, Representative Sorensen, Representative LaHood, and the list could go on. We need to tell them to call for an immediate and complete ceasefire in Gaza to prevent further slaughter of innocents. We need to talk with our friends, family, and neighbors to help more people take a stand against atrocities, no matter who are the perpetrators or the victims. Let us never stand by, silently complicit in crimes against humanity. No excuses. Thank you.